Okay, so once again, guys, we're going to ask all the groups to present now. You're given 5 minutes. I hope everyone will share. Okay, ask all to unmute. How do I make everyone? Is that possible? I haven't tried that before. Okay, so anyway, who are the members of group number 4? Can you please sound off, guys? Group number 4. So Palileo. Who else?
Uh, Sir, group number 6.
Sorry, group number 6 pala. Palileo, then
Galileo, Season, Theodosio,
okay,
eh,
season. Okay, season. More the co-host. Theodosio.
Relator.
And who's the last one? De La Torre. Okay, De La Torre. All right. So the members of the group are now co-hosts also. Okay, so I'll stop share, and then you have the floor, guys. Okay, so let's give a big hand to group number 6. Palakpak naman dyan, guys. Walang pumalakpak. Yeah, go guys. Thank you, Athena. You have the floor, guys. I think you have, baka nakamute kayo, ha?
Okay. So we're group 6 and our output is about PC PPI's profitability ratios. So Pepsi Cola Products Philippines, otherwise known as PCPPI, is a Philippine-based company founded in 1989 owned by its parent company PepsiCo and its lead shareholder Lotte Chilsong. The company serves as the exclusive local manufacturer, seller, and distributor of beverages under the international brand PepsiCo in the Philippines. With the company's other segments, the company also holds the manufacturing and distribution of other snack brands, such as Lay's and Doritos, and other beverage brands like Mountain Dew. So if you want more information, you can just refer to this website. And here's the income statements of PCPPI from the years 2017 to 2019.
So, profitability ratios reveal insights about the financial health of a business. They typically show how well a company uses and maximizes its assets to produce profit or income and value to its shareholders. So there are three main sorry, excuse me. There are three main profitability ratios, but for today's discussion, we'll just focus on Pepsi's gross profit margin and net profit margin. Shown on your screen is a table showing Pepsi's net sales, gross profit, and net profit from 2017 to 2019. These values are relevant to the computation of the ratios and others. For the first one, we have Pepsi's gross profit margin. It is simply gross profit divided by net sales. It shows how much profit a company makes after paying off its cost of goods sold. The gross profit margin of PCPPI in 2019, 2018, and 2017 is reported to be 19.37%, 17.10%, and 24.15% respectively. Among those years, the highest gross profit margin of PCPPI was recorded in 2017, in which the company earned the highest gross profit despite having the least sales, compared to 2018 and 2019. In this case, PCPPI managed to earn the highest gross profit despite having the least sales because the company managed to have the least value of the cost of goods sold. PCPPI suggested not only to focus on increasing the values of their sales, but also minimize their cost of goods sold. The company suggested also to consider negotiating better prices with its suppliers to minimize their cost of goods sold. It is because an increasing value of recorded sales will not significantly matter to the company if their cost of goods sold is not minimized accordingly.
For the company's net profit margin, It reflects the performance of the company in generating net profit or net income from every peso of its net sales. The net profit margin of PCPPI in the years 2019, 2018, and 2017 are 0.8%, negative 0.6%, and 1.8% respectively. PCPPI earned 8 pesos and 18 pesos worth of net profit in 2019 and 2017 respectively for every 1,000 peso worth of their sales. And as per the negative value of net profit margin in 2018, the company incurred 6 pesos worth of net loss for every 1,000 peso worth of sales in that year. Moving on to the next part of the presentation, we will discuss the delta, or this uppercase delta, as a measure of percentage change in the profitability ratios of PCPPI. Originally, delta is a symbol that is used to denote a change in value. In this report, this triangle here is the Greek symbol for an uppercase delta, as there is also a different symbol for a lowercase delta. And this uppercase delta will be used to denote percentage change in the following profitability ratios. The delta here is equal to x sub 2 minus x sub 1 all over or divided by x sub 1 and times 100 to have an answer in percentage. With regard to x sub 1 and x sub 2, if you want to know how much the gross profit margin, for example, grew from 2018 to 2019, then x sub 1 or the base year is 2018, whereas x sub 2 or the comparison year will be 2019. For the delta of PCPPI's gross profit margin from 2018 to 2019, the positive value of delta of the gross profit margin means that the company's gross profit margin grew by 13.275% from 2018 to 2019. Next, for the delta of PCPPI's net profit margin from 2018 to 2019, in this case, the net profit margin's delta is equal to 241.67%, which means that the company's net profit margin grew or increased by 241.67% from 2018 to 2019. As we can see, there is a higher delta for the net profit margin from 2018 to 2019 than the gross profit margin, since the net profit margin in 2018 was at a negative value, and in 2018 it's already a positive value.
Next is the application of the mean and standard deviation. For the mean net sales, the calculated mean for the net sales of Pepsi for the years 2017 to 2019 is 32,871,868 pesos, while the standard deviation for the net sales is calculated to be 2,612,546 pesos, which means that in those 3 years, the value for the net sales may either increase or decrease by around 2,612,546 pesos at an average. Next is the mean gross profit. The mean gross profit is calculated for the 3 years to be 6,591,935 pesos and 67 centavos. While the standard deviation for the gross profit is calculated to be 795,392 pesos and 52 centavos.
As for the mean of net profit from 2017 to 2019, it is 213,503.67 pesos, and standard deviation of net profit is 377,713.35. That's it. So,
Hello, sir. I think that ends our presentation for today. Thanks. Thank you, sir, and thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's give a big hand to group number six. Lamat, group number six. But before the next group presents, group number six, can you please show your R Markdown file? Everyone, please have your R Markdown ready for you to show also. Okay, can you just quickly go over what are some of the uh, kind of discuss very quickly some of the codes that you used.
so sir, when including images, we used codes that we found from the net. We used the package netter to include images, since it's easier to organize than using our markdown syntax. And this is what we used to um, add in the URL link, just a simple R markdown syntax. And more knitter, and these are for the tables. Would anyone want to discuss the tables?
So for the tables, we inputted raw data, and to do that, we use the data.frame, and we just assign the values and the objects for the table, which is for the rows and the columns. So the net sales, gross profit, and net profit respectively. And for that, to be able to be printed to a table, we use the knitr cable. And then we use the align function, which is left, center, 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 to format the table. And then we just added the caption for the table.
Okay, guys, take note of this. I suggest that since this is available to everyone for your use also for your perusal, take note how the group manually, quote unquote manually, they didn't import the data, they wrote the data. So you see here, this coerces your data into a data frame. Okay, the data frame is a structure, is a data structure. So far, what we have learned is a vector where you have only one set or one row of data of the same type. For a data frame, you can have several values. Note this here that they're calling this variable value, which is a combination of, this is a character, no? And then you have here numeric. So a data frame accepts both any type of data, whether it's a numeric or character or logical, etc. So as I said in our last discussion, the focus of our subject is more on the use of data frames. Okay? So anything else, guys? You see the formula here? No? Tingnan yung formula nila, guys. Oh? So could you kindly explain the formula for gross profit margin? How did you generate that? Group 6?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
To input po the formula, we use the one of the most important codes here is the dollar sign before at the start of the formula and at the end of the formula, and
Mm.
the backslashes in between the words are used to indicate the spaces between words, because of course in not all cases of formula there would always be figures or symbols or Greek symbols. Like here we use words like gross profit margin, and we didn't use any variable to represent gross profit and net sales anymore. That's why in upon inputting those words we have to use this backslashes in inputting them. And this feature to input formula in R Studio is also used upon presenting the formula and the substitution of the following values in the latter part of the presentation, like this one. We have here, the first formula that we see here in the screen is the formula for the delta. And the second part here is the substitution. And we still use the same feature with the dollar signs before and after, or the dollar signs enclosing the formula.
That's good. So which part of that code gave you the divisor?
Um, the part of the code where we can see this x underscore 1 that is enclosed by this brackets po, sir.
Hindi yung frac, no? The answer there is yung frac. The use of frac provides you yung line, yung division, no? Kasi fraction yan, guys, no? So, tingnan nyo, yung delta, that's the Greek word. Okay, so you can use, if you type the word alpha, it will generate yung Greek symbol na alpha. So, yung mga Greek characters, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, etc., no? Lahat yun, you can type that, and then it will generate the Greek symbol, no? For that. Tama yung group, sabi nila yung dollar, dollar. Ano difference pag dollar, dollar sa dollar lang? Anyone from the class? Anyone who has experienced that?
Sir?
Yung dollar po for inline text.
Correct. Thank you. Yung dollar lang, pag isang dollar lang, inline text yun, yung ibig sabihin kasama dun sa line. Pag dollar, dollar, ano siya, separate na ano talaga, no? It's highlighted yung formula. So if you want to highlight a particular formula, use the double dollar. Okay? So, all right. Thank you so much, group number 6. Very good report. I'm happy with that. So, great presentation. The topic is relevant kasi finance topic yan, yung profitability. And you were able to use, in fact, yung data.table na hindi pa natin dinidiscuss. That's very good. You were able to use yung mga functions, formulas, link to URLs. So, complete yung, yung output ng group number 6. So let's give a big hand to group number 6. Palakpak naman kayo dyan, guys. Unmute nyo naman yung sarili nyo. Okay? Wala ba mga kamay yung mga classmates nyo? Isa lang ang titipid nyo, guys. Affirm naman natin si group number 6, guys. Affirm natin. Let's thank them for a good job, no? Okay, so thank you again, group number 6. Sandali, magpe-present ulit pala ako, no? Okay, sige, random. Next group, wala bang volunteer? Para hindi na ako mag-randomize sa Excel?
Sir, can
Yes.
group 5 present?
Okay, group 5, thank you so much. So let's give our floor to group number 5. Group number 5 is De Guzman. Tama ba? Group number 5?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes.
De Guzman, Lee, To, and Malyari. Okay,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to, pakidictate nga sa akin, gagawin ko kayong ano?
Malyari po.
Dali, sorry.
Okay.
Saan ba yun? Participants. I have to explore or a better way to make this fast kasi pwede mo maging ano, guys? Pwede mo maging co-host lahat? Would anyone know how to do that? Okay, kung
Sir,
hindi,
baka
yes.
pwede yung magpe-present lang yung gawing co-host.
Oo nga, pero isa-isahin ko, no?
Sir, meron po sa may share screen na button, yung arrow po na pataas.
Share screen button. Okay. Yes.
Tapos, pag pinindot niyo po yun, may allow all participants. po to share
Okay.
screen.
Saan yung allow? Wait. Sige, hanapin ko yun. Para mas mabilis kasi kung iisa-ising ko pa. So, yung arrow na pataas and then, ayun, okay. Thank
Yes
you.
po.
Ayan,
Sir,
tama, ano?
can group 3 be next po after group
Sige,
5?
after group 5, group 3 Sige.
Thank you, sir.
Sige. Okay. Okay, all participants who can start sharing someone else. Who can start sharing when someone else is sharing? Sige, all participants lang. Okay. So all participants can share now. All participants are, all participants can share. All right. So once again, guys, let's give a big hand to group number 5. Group number 5, you have the floor.
Okay. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
So today we're gonna talk about our work about financial ratio analysis. So we focused on most of the financial ratios found in most financing subjects and application. So for the first part of our work, we just did mostly text by using the hashtags and the dollar sign symbols to output the formulas. And for the formulas, sir, we use the backslash fraction. So we did that for all the ratios mostly. Yes. So for most of the ratios, we use the backslash frac and the brackets to output the ratios in that format. Okay, go down. So as shown there, it's mostly using that way.
So for the images inserted, which shows the consolidated financial statements of JFC, Jollibee Foods Corporation, we use the following specific options related to the images, which is this. And then we use echo false to not display the code of the image on the output. We used eval through to evaluate the code of the image and include the results. And then we used out with to directly resize the width and the height of the image. Fig align left to make the image align to the left. Fig cap, which represents the caption of the image seen below it, which is this. And also includes a link to URL code to the source on where we got the pictures of the consolidated financial statements of JFC. And we lastly included the knit-r include graphics function to include the external image to the R code. So this is the output.
Okay, for the next part, we actually use the data from the financial reports to actually solve for the ratios, but we did not like it's not actually solving it in R. It's just in text, same as the first part by using the dollar signs, the backslash frac, and the brackets just to display the text, as well as the dollar sign backslash text to show it as well. We did that all for all the ratios again, as shown in the presentation. Um, Even for the capital budgeting techniques, we did the same thing with the text, just showing it, yeah, as shown in the presentation again. It's just plain text with a few dollar sign symbols.
Um, when we for the capital budgeting, we inserted a link, and when inserting a link, it should be enclosed within a parenthesis. In our R Markdown project, we placed a bracket followed by the URL inside the parenthesis. By doing this process, the bracket shows the message linked in the URL, followed by the URL you want to link it with. The URL we inserted consists of sample problems to further help understand the concepts of the methods of capital budgeting.
So for the summary, we made a table for all the formulas stated above. To create a table, the main elements are the vertical bar, column, and dash. The vertical bar indicates the division of columns, while rows are added by placing the information on the next line. The column represents the alignment of the text. If you want your text to be left aligned, the column should be placed on the left, followed by dashes. For right aligned, the column is placed after the dashes. And for center aligned, column should be colon should be placed on both sides and dashes are placed in between.
Sorry, kindly show that in the code para makita ng classmates.
Yan
Because
po.
that's very important. Pakita nyo.
Yung nasa.
Point to the specific line. What I meant was, kunyari, yung profitability ratios, ano? So you have yung formula, yung naka-left align siya, yung gross profit margin is equal to net sales minus cost of goods sold. And then you have on the right side, you have the EBITDA margin. No? So kindly illustrate to your classmate how that appears in your code.
So, for our table kasi, dalawa yung columns niya. So, as seen on the R markdown, yung first line namin is profitability ratios, which is may dalawang vertical lines on both sides.
Okay.
So, since walang text after the vertical line, it will assume na isang column lang siya. And then yung sa baba niya, which is yung vertical line, column, and yung dashes, that indicates where the alignment of the text is. So for our table, the columns are placed on the left side, which means it's left aligned. And then after that, for the margin ratios, it shows that the gross profit margin, like yung codes for that, and then my vertical line. And then yung codes after that, yun yung indication na it's the second column na. So yeah, that's basically how we made the table.
Yeah, that's correct, no? Can you see, class, how they were able to separate the left part of the table to the right? There's another way to do that, and but you have to make use of another package. Maybe I'll explain that in class. That's a cable extra. It generates tables that are very good looking and very orderly. Ang disadvantage nito, medyo parang marami siyang nakalagay dun sa table. But it's okay, guys. I really appreciate this. I really appreciate this group showing us this type of coding and the output that it can have. I strongly urge you guys, because this is available to everyone, I strongly urge you to look at this. And so is the output of group number 6 and this one, and learn from the experiences of others and to see how really very powerful R Markdown is. As I said, you can already create a book out of R Markdown. So I'll be happy, guys, that in your future subjects, when you report, you make use of this and tell your teacher or professor that you were using R Markdown to generate a report like this. Okay? So please continue. Sorry, group number 5, please continue.
That's all lang po for our presentation.
Okay, so let's give a big hand to group number 5. Group number 5, thank you. Palakpak naman, guys, dyan. Supportan naman natin yung mga mga kaklase natin. Walang palakpak. Ay. I-chat nyo na lang, guys. Chat nyo na lang. Message of... Huwag tayong maging matipid sa Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for commenting on the output of group number 5. So group number 5, thank you once again. I like the way you presented your report. Side by side yung R Markdown and the output. So perhaps that will be a good way for the next groups if you can do that also. Para kita simultaneously yung R Markdown and the output itself. Okay, next is group number 3. Group number 3, members sila. Bahala na kayo mag-introduce ng sarili nyo, group number 3.
Hello, boss.
Yeah, group number 3, you have the floor.
Hi, good morning, everyone. We are Group 3 and we will be presenting our report about the financial performance of the top three Philippine fast food corporations in 2019. So in this needed RMD, the group will show the financial performance specifically focusing on the net income of the top fast food corporations in the Philippines for the year 2019 as per the ranking presented by Business World. Moreover, the infographic presented is actually an image directly sourced from the internet with the usage of an add image function. The three corporations, JFC, Golden Arches, and Shakey's Pizza Asia will be the main focus in this presentation. As shown in the screen, there are two chunks. The evaluated chunk, which has the true value, wherein the table with the hashtags are shown, which is followed by another chunk, which has a false value, which is why it can't be seen in the knitted file. For the succeeding parts, the group had decided to show the codes to explain how it was done. Moving on, the first line contains the dataset, which is the net income for the years 2017 to 2019. Meanwhile, the second line focuses on the column headings, and it is then followed by the row headings. The fourth line commands are to create a table from the given guidelines previously mentioned. As such, this table is printed when the last line is typed. Moreover, the group had decided to research further on the different codes in R Markdown to improve the layout of the output. This allowed the group to use another code, although it is not a code chunk, to make the net income table to become more visually appealing. In addition, the paragraph contents of the paper has also a justified alignment using the style function.
Meanwhile, our group also utilized the R Markdown to present formulas and also to solve for the following measures of central tendency. First, the formula for the mean is as follows. X bar is equal to the summation of all the values divided by how many numbers there are. As you can see, the group used the X bar in the summation as the Greek symbols. To solve for the mean of the net income of the three corporations for 2019, the group made use of two ways. First is to manually solve for the mean by adding all the values and dividing it by 3. Second is to use the function in R. To do this, we first created a code chunk to define a variable x to be read as the dataset of 6.42 million, 1.998 million, and 865,000. We then took the mean of x and printed it as result.mean. As you can see, both ways yielded the same result of 3.095 million. Next is the median. To make it more organized, the group decided to arrange the three values of the dataset in ascending order through using the sort function. After this, we took the median of x and printed it, as with the mean earlier, to yield a result of 1.998 million. As found in the arranged values, 1.988 million is indeed the middle value.
Consequently, the mode function is based on the research conducted by the group that is useful in determining the value of the mode with the given data. Since all the values that were concatenated only have a frequency of 1, it can be observed that the R code chunk only recognized the first data input, which resulted in a value of 6,422,916 pesos. This outcome also reflects the net income generated by Jollibee Foods Corporation in 2019. For the standard deviation, the group used two methods to compare the results of each code. One is SD function and the other is the manual input of the equation. First, we assigned A to have the concatenated net income values and used the SD function to generate the result. Second, we manually use the formula for standard deviation. It can be observed that SQRT is used to find the square root, sum is used for the summation Greek symbol or uppercase sigma, and length is used for the number of observations. Based on the results, it generated a value of 2,936,842 pesos, which is the same outcome for both methods. This implies that there is a high standard deviation within the dataset due to a large net income of the three corporations, which also resulted in a huge distance of these values relative to its mean.
Aside from those, the group also decided to add further analysis through figures or graphs to assess the financial performance of the focused corporations or for the trend and benchmarking analysis. First, the group illustrated the 2019 net income of each of the corporations compared with each other through the use of a bar graph. This is through the basic bar plot function wherein the group assigned a data frame which consists of the category labels and also the values for each of the bar heights, as well as the specific colors and labels for distinction. The graph shows the standing or ranking of the top three Philippine fast food corporations in 2019 with regards to their net income for the said year. It can be seen that JFC has the leading position, Golden Arches garnering the second place, and Shakey's Pizza acquiring the third place. For the next section of the analysis, the group included three types of graphs: a 3-year line graph, a bar graph, and also a combination of the two, a bar graph with a trend line for each of the corporations. The line graph is through the basic plot function. Can you go up? Which can be seen in the code presented in the screen. And the bar graph is through the basic bar plot function with all the necessary data frames and customization. Consequently, the bar graphs with trend lines are through the use of the ggplot2 package wherein the ggplot, geombar, and geomline functions were used. This is also with the specific data frames and customizations through the xlab and ylab functions, which give the specific names for the x-axis and y-axis, and etc. We are showing three graphs for each because the line graph did not seem to satisfy the visualization of the data for the benchmarking analysis. With that, the group decided to also add a 3-year bar graph to have a better or a more appealing visualization and presentation. Furthermore, it is more advisable to use a bar graph since the data utilized is only limited to a 3-year period analysis. Moreover, the group decided to include a combination of the two for a much better presentation of data, hence the bar graph with the trend line. Overall, the analysis and explanations for the graphs are included, showing the trend and benchmarking analysis for the data involved, as well as the overall conclusion and recommendation, and lastly, the references. That's all. Thank you, sir, and
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you. Kindly show your R markdown and quickly just maybe share with us some of the highlights. For example, what are the some of the codes that you learned? For example, yung sa line number 11 nyo, yung 10, 11 to 13. What was that about?
Sir, this function is about ano po, yung style po na gagamitin all throughout the file, and it's a style para po justified yung alignment po ng text ng yung entire content po ng
Yeah.
needed
Okay.
files.
So class learn from this, no? You can already format how how you want the text to appear, okay, in the output. So this one, yung body, dun sa body yung text i-align niya, i-adjust, naka-justify siya, no? Ibig sabihin the result will appear naka-justify yung output ng ano natin ng whatever output, whether Word or PDF or HTML. Sige, how about sige, briefly explain kung ano yung image, how did you generate that image? So nasa taas yung code niyan.
Sir, for the image, first we collaged it para po ganyan yung maging outcome niya. And then we use the code image sources with an asterisk, with a single asterisk on both sides in order for it to be italicized. And then the Jollibee, which is enclosed in a bracket, it's for the so that it would appear in the HTML as a blue link, which when we click it, it will generate to the link
Okay.
enclosed in the parentheses. So that's how we did the images part po.
Okay. So there was a pre-work done by the by group number three. No, this they did not just get from the internet itong image na to. You did some pre-work on that by combining the logos, no? Tama ba?
Yes,
And
sir.
then save it as a PNG file.
Yes po.
Okay. Did you also include this PNG file in your folder?
Yes,
Yes,
boss.
sir.
Okay, so that's available, guys, for the class. I strongly urge you to study each of your classmates' work. Okay, so it's like getting you contribute one and then you get nine in return. So that's nine out of one. That's 900% return for each one of you guys, and that's why we're recording this so that you can review this and see the highlights of the group. Okay. Group number three. Anything more sa code which you'd like to share?
And then, sir, we also included po an image po sourced from the internet since the other one is a file downloaded po as a
Okay.
PNG. And then this one po is from the internet using a link naman po with the same function.
Okay. Good. So you can in your output you can generate an image coming from a file or coming from the internet itself. No?
And yes po, and just as said earlier po, for the tables po, we have two code chunks po. The first one is sige po sir, yung sa graphs na lang po if that's okay.
Okay. Sige.
Sorry sir. For the graphs po, so at first po, when we consulted you po, we had the line graphs po.
Mm-mm.
And then we also thought na it wasn't that appealing.
Mm-mm.
So we added a bar graph na rin po to present with the same data po. So you can see here for the Jollibee Corporation, the first code chunk,
What line is that?
line 182 to 188.
Okay.
You can see there that that is the code chunk for the line graph. The JFC is the specified data frame for the plot function, and then the title is just for the main title or label for the line graph. So the plot function commands are to make a line graph out of the stated data frame, which is the JFC, with the values you need.
Okay. Pero data frame ba siya? Si
Ay,
JFC?
bali hindi po
Ano
pala siya
siya?
data frame.
Ano siya? It's A. Alam na natin yan, guys. Anyone from the class? JFC, and then you're combining this value 649764
Data set po, sir.
data set, or we call it, what do you call a data set that has the same values, the same types? It's a letter V, guys.
Vector.
It's a vector, okay? So si JFC dito vector siya.
Is a vector po. And
Vector siya.
then,
Kasi pag
for,
data frame, di ba, iba't ibang ano na yan, iba't ibang elements na combination na siya
po,
ng iba't
sir,
ibang
yun po yung
elements.
ginamit sa next.
Okay, sige.
But, and then for the next code chunk, we decided to create a bar graph to have a more appealing visualization of the data. So for this bar graph, now we use the data frame for the values and the value for the bar heights. So the my calls na you can see from lines 195 to 201, yun yung assigned colors for the bar plots. And then the bar plot function commands are to create the bar graph which can be seen in the presentation.
So let's dissect that. No, so they created a vector called my calls, my colors. R has a you can there's a package in R, yung color brewer, which you can use in order to access different types of colors. So lahat ng colors na available pwedeng gamitin sa R. So ito shades of red, no? Red 2, red 3, red 4. Okay, and then they created an object called BP, which is a bar plot. No? So when we go to, by next week, mag-GG plot na tayo, data visualization. Bar plot here, actually this is not, yeah, hindi ano to,
Yes po, hindi po siya
hindi G plot yung ginamit, GG plot yung ginamit.
basic
This is just base R,
function
no?
lang po.
So define nila kung ano yung height. Okay, yung data kasi, it's a vector, yung vector na data dito sa 196 consisting of three values, 64, 76, 64, and then they gave it names, no? 2017, 2018, 2019. Yun yung name, no? Name and value.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, so that's
And then
correct.
for the next one po, we use the ggplot2 package na po for the bar graph with the trend line po.
Ayan, okay.
Bali, using the library ggplot2, we are unpackaging the ggplot2 package po.
You can see, guys, yung code from 214. No? This is a ggplot code. So it first starts with the data that you're going to use, then aesthetics. Okay, so aesthetics, i-identify nyo kung ano yung x-axis at saka yung y-axis. And then you see plus. No? Plus. I just want to point out, guys, na ang sa ggplot, dapat nag-e-end siya sa plus. Kasi ang ggplot, guys, layering eh. Gagawa tayong layers. Tignan yung layer nila. The first layer is, of course, yung ano natin, yung aesthetics, which is you defining your x and y. And then you have the geom bar. And then may define sila na theme. And then they're identifying kung ano yung label, X label at saka Y label. And then may GG title pa, yung overall title ng plot. And then may dinagdag pa silang geom line. So this is what's good about GG plot. Kasi magdadagdag ka lang na magdadagdag ng layers dun sa plot mo. Okay, so Hadley Wickham was the one who invented this, and it considers a plot as layers and layers and layers of images or titles. So parang chunk natin siya, and that's what's powerful about ggplot. So again, guys, we're going to start learning ggplot2 by next week, either Monday or Wednesday. And I suggest that you already begin looking at how to navigate through ggplot. But of course, you have to install the packages first. Install that packages ggplot2, and then we're going to use the library function. Okay, so thank you so much, group number 3. Let's give a big hand to group number 3. Thank you. Group number 3 already showed us how to use the ggplot2. Okay, so may pinakita din doon yung yung group number 3, yung paggamit ng function. Not the ordinary function, but creating a function. So, anong line yun? Sorry, group number 3. Anong code nun? Anong line? Nag-create kayo ng specialized function. I think it's above. Nasa taas yata.
Sir, sa may standard deviation po
No. Sa function yun. Function, ayan. Ayun ba yun? Ayan yan. Yeah, that row number 122. No? Tingnan nyo yung paggawa ng function. Function, and they gave it a name, function V. And then they generated a function, no? Tapos i-iterate ni yan. Hindi pa natin i-discuss yan, but that will be iterated throughout. And that's a very powerful way to do iteration. Yung iluloop niya, itatabulate niya yung 66642, 199, 865, etc. Okay, so this is quite an advanced topic, function. Pero we'll have examples of that. Kunyari, kasi yung sum o yung mean o yung standard deviation, you can create a function out of that. So hindi natin gagamitin kunyari yung SD na function or mean na function. Rather, you create a function. We're going to learn that as we go on. Okay, once again, thank you so much, group number 3. Okay, again, thank you so much. Okay, who's the next one, guys? Volunteer? Any volunteer? Okay, ako na lang mag-ano. Alright, group number 9. So group number 9, you have the floor. Masangke, Paguntalan, and Ang. Okay, then group number 1, may volunteer dito after group number 9.
Good morning, sir.
And then, sorry after group number 1 will be group number 7. Sige, please, group number 9.
So our topic is financial risk. So here we discuss the definition of risk. Risk refers to the uncertainty in the distribution of possible outcomes. It is the possibility that an actual return may be different from the expected return. So we inserted an image of the sources of risk using the code, and the sources of risk are interest rate risk, market risk, inflation risk, business risk, liquidity, and financial risk. So we on this discussion will be focusing on financial risk. Diversification is a tool in managing financial risk. It reduces the magnitude of loss or risk by investing in more than one security. A type of risk is market risk. Market risk is the possibility of changes in market prices or interest rates. It represents economy-wide factors, so these are risks that could be controlled, and this type of risk is non-diversifiable. Another type of financial risk is company-unique risk. Company-unique risks are unsystematic risks that represent firm-specific factors, and this type of risk could be reduced through diversification.
Morning, sir. How do we measure risk? In measuring different risks, the more scientific approach would be the standard deviation. It could be a measure of the dispersal of potential outcomes. We also generated the standard deviation formula using the dollar sign in the R markdown. We would also like to down, please. We would also like to present a simple illustration or graph on what happens on trade-off between risk and return. So basically, if there would be low risk involved, there is also a low potential return on investments. Similarly, if there would be a high risk return, high risk involved, there could be a high potential return on investment. So this is important because individual business people have different approaches on analyzing risk. Some are a risk taker, optimistic type of person. Some are risk averse or pessimistic, and others are neither optimistic nor pessimistic. Next, please.
So for this part, we will determine the preferred stock to invest by looking into sample expected returns, and we use data frame for this. So in order to determine the risk per stock, we would have to compute for standard deviation per stock. So we use the built-in code for standard deviation, which is SD. So so it resulted to 13.11 for risk of stock A, then 50.06 for risk of stock B. So it shows that stock B has greater risk than stock A. So it is recommended to invest in stock A.
So why study financial risk? Because financial risk is an important aspect to look into business, because you will be determining externally and internally. Then it will keep your business run smoothly. And plus, if you're an investor, it's really important to study it. Then, down please. So we entered the references po. Yan. Or markdown. Oh.
Okay, kindly present your R markdown, please.
We inserted the definitions of the risk directly and inserted an image using
Sorry, only 2 presented. Yung isa niyo pang group member.
3 po, sir.
We're
Tatlo?
only 3 lang po. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sige. Alright.
And then we inserted an image using this code, Google Graphics, and inserted the working directory first, then the file name of the image. We also inserted the image source using this code. We put the author's name and the year and inserted the link source of the image so that anyone could access the photo.
So in generating the standard deviation formula, we use this code, the double dollar sign, and it generated the formula in this form.
Okay, so you have there the square root, no? The square root symbol, SQRT. And then you have the frac there, which is the fraction. Okay. And then take a look at the backslash sum. So that's the symbol for the summation sign. Guys, nakita nyo? Look at how the summation sign was generated. So first you have a fraction, ibig sabihin magdi-divide. Una, square root, no? And then yung frac, which is the fraction, which is the division. And then yung symbol ng Riemann sum, yung sigma. So that's your sum. And then yung limits. Ano yung limits? From I is equal to 1 up to I is equal to n. Okay? And then you have your slash. And then yung left. Okay? And then you have the yung x sub I. Okay, yung subscript na I, notice how it was done. Okay, and then yung bar x natin. Okay. And then you have the caret 2 here, the squared here. So that's the whole the whole bracket. That's for the numerator, and another bracket for the denominator. So this is how we generate the formula for sigma. Okay. Anything more? Group number 9.
For this one po, sir, we use data frame po. And ginawa ko pong object or variable yung stock A or stock B, so that kapag i-compute po yung standard deviation, variable name or object name na lang po. So direct computation po ng
Okay, tingnan nyo guys yung rows 87, di ba? Ang ginawa nila, they created first an object called stock A. And stock A is a vector consisting of numbers 24, 34, 50. Tapos si stock B ganun din. No? 1, 1, 3, 30. So these are two vectors. And then, yung dalawang vectors na to, kinumbine nila. So they created an object called DF. Pero I suggest, guys, I suggest that we use the assignment operator kasi nag-equal tayo, di ba? Nag-equal kayo dyan, no?
Okay.
Is equal to, ano? It's better to use the assignment operator. Although tama naman yan kasi wala namang conflict. Kasi ang disadvantage na using the equal to, sometimes dun sa code natin, may gagamitin din na equal to. So pag nagdo-double, sometimes nagkaka-confusion, no? So I suggest that you use the assignment operator. And then what they did was to create an object called DF, okay? And then it's converted into a data frame, stock A, stock B. So they got the standard deviation of stock A and stock B. Okay. So anything more, group number 9?
That's all lang po, sir.
Okay, sige. Thank you so much, group number 9. Okay. So this is a good topic because it's about risk and return. Okay. Ang ano lang, feedback lang ng konti. Ladies, para ano yung mga babae kayo, no? When you present next time, ano lang ha, please medyo taas-taasan niyo yung ano, yung energy. Kasi yung ano, I felt that medyo ano siya yung parang masyadong subdued. Okay? So get your classmates excited also with your report. Tell them, hey, we're reporting an important thing here and we're excited about it. Yun lang nakita ko na medyo kulang doon. No? So next time when you present, make sure that you hype your presentation. Be excited about it kasi produkto niyo yan. Okay? And have that energy. No? Be excited about what you present. But overall, group number 9, thank you so much. So thank you so much, group
Thank
number
you,
9.
sir.
Palakpakan natin. Okay? And then we have group number 1.
Sir, nakikita po ba yung screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Introduce yourselves, guys.
So, hi guys, we are group 1 and one of our group mates is actually absent because he has Wi-Fi issues now. So we are only 3 right now.
Okay.
Okay, we will start. So for the first part, our topic is BDO bank loan rates. So as reflect, okay, go. Oh, Isabella.
Sorry, sir, I was lagging earlier.
Okay, so are you going to present first?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sige. You have the
Okay.
floor.
Good morning, sir, and classmates. We are Group 1, and we will be presenting bank loan rates specifically from BDO. We all know that we have been greatly financially affected by this pandemic. With that, personal loans can aid us with our financial needs to fund our plans such as home renovation, education, furniture, appliances, vacation, balance transfer, special events, health and wellness, and medical emergencies. Some key features and benefits of BDO personal loans include loan amount that can be as low as 10,000 up to 1 million pesos, which is subject to bank approval. There are also flexible payment terms to give you options from 6, 12, 18, 24, or 36 months. For loan availability, the loan proceeds can be credited to your BDO savings or current account or can be disbursed via BDO manager's check. Additionally, you can easily pay monthly installment through automatic debit arrangement or OTC at any BDO branch nationwide. Consequently, you can monitor your outstanding balance via BDO personal online banking.
So now so in order to apply for a video bank loan rate, here are the qualifications needed. So first, for the eligibility requirements, you must be 21 years old at the time of application. You must also be a Filipino citizen, or you can also be a foreigner who is a resident here in the country. Also reflected here are the minimum gross annual income requirements, which is 180,000 for salaried employees, and 400,000 for self-employed or professionals plus regular employees or self-employed with business operating at least 2 years. You must also have one landline number in either residence or place of work or mobile number, and residence or office address must be within any area where a BDO branch is located. Now let us proceed for the step two, which is to prepare the documents. I'll go through this briefly. So for the first one is the proof of income for salaried employees. Next is the proof of income for self-employed professionals, and the next one is proof of identification. So here is the list for the proofs of the IDs that you can show. And there's also one for the resident foreigners and the additional document requirements for BDO Kabayan program, which is another program that for the personal loan um, sector of the BDO. So that is not to be focused on that much since personal loan is what we're focusing on. And the last one is the for the for the last step is the submit the application form and requirements, which is you go to any BDO branch nationwide and just give out your application. So for the BDO personal loan rates, we included here a manual table that shows the different tenors, which is 6, 12, 18, 24, and 36. Also included here are the factor rates, which is also reflected in the table that can be found on the internet, which is 0.17 for the 6 months, so 0.09 for the 12 months, 0.09 for 18 months, 0.05 for 24, and lastly for 0.04 for 36 months. Also reflected here are the monthly add-on rate, which is the 1.30% for the first one, 1.25% for the rest ones. Now for the annual effective rate, 26.27% for the first, 26.63%, 26.76%, 26.58%, 25.98%. So after we put the table here, we also put a code wherein an insertion for the images is included. So the next part will be discussed by my group mate again.
For calculating the monthly amortization, we assign the base value or the loan amount as X. Then we multiply X to a two-factor rate of each tenor. As we see from the sample computation with the 500,000 loan amount as the X, we multiply that with each factor rate. So for tenor 6, the monthly amortization will be 89,833.6. For tenor 12, there will be a monthly amortization of 47,918.48. For tenor 18, there will be 34,029.27 as monthly amortization. For tenor 24, there will be 27,083.77. And lastly, for tenor 36, a monthly amortization of 20,139.98. There are also remarks or important notice from BDO which we have listed. Number one, all amounts quoted in Philippine peso. Number two, rates may change without prior notice. Number three, all computations are for illustration purposes only. These do not constitute an approval nor an offer by BDO. Number four, personal loan applications are subject to the final approval of BDO. Once approved, the signed undertaking, promissory note, and disclosure agreement and the prevailing fees and charges shall apply.
We also put a histograph in the presentation. It's not related to the topic, but we'll just show that you can use betas in order to make histograph and to use the values in order to uh, set seed numbers. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. So pinakita nyo naman yung ano, no? Any highlights sa R markdown, guys? Any highlights you'd like to share there? This is R markdown file. So may question lang ako, ano yung values na yan? So 500,000 multiplied by the tenor, and the tenor is dependent on yung factor rate, no? Tama ba?
Yes, sir. So for each tenor,
0.17.
there is a factor rate.
Okay.
It's a sample computation po, if ever. Kunyari,
Sample
the
computation. Kunyari
100,000
500 yung ano yung
loan amount.
loan amount. Okay. But that should be ano yun? Ito yung monthly amortization, no?
Yes, sir. For each tenor, if
Annual ba yan?
monthly po, sir.
Monthly.
So it depends po on the 6, 12, 18, 24, 36. Depending po kung what will the customer avail.
Okay. What's the monthly add-on rates there? Yung 1.3 tapos yung 1.25. Okay. So factor rate monthly rates to, no? Tapos here you're shown the effective rate per annum. Tama ba?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
I'm just curious why the effective rate per annum for the longer tenor, 36 months, is lower. Kasi kung 36 months mo babayaran, hindi ba dapat mas mataas yung effective annual rate? 26.27, 26. Tingnan nyo, yung 6, 12 at saka 18, as you increase the tenor, tumataas yung effective annual rate. I'm just surprised why mas mababa yung effective rate per annum kapag 36 months. Generally, guys, I don't know, did you get this from the internet? Ito mismo?
Yes, sir. It's from the BDO site po mismo.
Okay, pero hindi ba kayo nagulat na ano?
Actually, sir, now that you've asked, oo nga po.
Diba? Kasi dapat guys yan, kasi since you're going to pay a longer period, mas mataas dapat yung effective rate yan. So, nagulat lang ako dun. Anyway, hindi nyo naman fault, hindi yung fault yan kasi kinuha nyo lang yung sa ano. Okay, so group number 1 presented to us bank loans. So may mga image silang linagay, pati yung access, pati yung link dun sa ano sa internet, no?
Sir, we also added like an order list. I think we haven't seen that from other people.
Saan yung order list, no?
Important notice.
Where is that? Pero text lang yan, ano?
Sure, but it's ordered.
Sorry? So
but
what's
it's ordered.
It's what? It's?
Ordered.
What do you mean by ordered?
Sir, from the sheet, it's by numbered po.
Numbered.
Sa bullet form.
Oo, pero it's just writing the numbers, di ba?
Okay po.
Okay, so i-read lang niya as a text yung numbers yan. Okay, kaso nga lang, ito, okay, I commend you for including this, pero next time don't do that, yung set.c tapos R-norm, kasi that has nothing to do with your report, no? So parang ilinagay nyo lang siya para magkaroon ng histogram dyan.
Okay, sir.
Diba? So of course that has nothing to do with the report at all, as your groupmate said. Siguro when you're going to present later on sa other subjects, no, hindi na siguro kailangan yung ganyan. Okay, so all right, let's give a big hand to group number 1. Thank you so much, group number 1. Thank you. Okay, nice job. Okay, then we have group number 7, please.
Sir, nakikita niyo po?
Yes, you can see.
Hello, sir. Sorry. We're the
Okay.
group 7 and we're Bianca Ariandino, Armand Wiculer, and Alexandria Tan. So here we can see the inserted image of the symbol of alpha. Then we put text po for the definition of it. We just saved the image from the internet in JPEG format, then inserted it po. So proceeding po with our topic, what is alpha? Alpha is a measure of the performance of an investment as compared to a suitable benchmark index such as the S&P 500. An alpha of 1 shows that the return on the investment during a specified time frame outperformed the overall market average by 1%. A negative alpha a negative alpha number reflects an investment that is underperforming as compared to the market average. For the origin of alpha, the concept of alpha originated from the introduction of weighted index funds, which attempt to replicate the performance of the entire market and assign an equivalent weight to each area of investment. The development as an investing strategy created a new standard of performance. Basically, investors began to require portfolio managers of actively traded funds to produce returns that exceeded what investors could expect to make by investing in a passive index fund. Alpha was created as a metric to compare active investments with index investing.
Good morning, sir. So, moving on po sa alpha computation, alpha is computed in relation to the capital asset pricing model. It is how companies identify the required return of an investment. Moreover, this is often used to evaluate realized performance for a diversified portfolio. So if it is assumed that the portfolio being evaluated is a diversified portfolio, diversified portfolio means we have already eliminated the unsystematic risk po. And because a diversified portfolio's main source of risk is the market risk or what we call the systematic risk, beta is an appropriate measure of that risk. In short, we will be seeing alpha and beta throughout the presentation. Alpha is used to determine by how much the realized return of the portfolio varies from the required return as determined by the capital asset pricing model. This would be the formula for alpha, where alpha is the Jensen's alpha, RP is the portfolio return, beta is the portfolio beta coefficient, RF is the risk-free rate, and RM is the return on the benchmark, which we can say that it is the S&P 500. So what's the explanation for this formula? By subtracting the market return from the risk-free interest rate, we would understand how well the market actually did. Multiplying the result times beta or the volatility of the investment compared to the market volatility, it contextualizes the performance. Re-adding the risk-free return rate brings us back to an accurate baseline so that we can subtract the amount from the investment's return and produce a meaningful difference. So, for example, assuming that the actual return of the fund is 30, the risk-free rate is 8%, beta is 1.1, and the benchmark index return is 20%. Alpha is calculated as shown on the screen if not yet evaluated, if the chunk is not yet evaluated. Then when computed, alpha is now equal to 0.088 or 8.8%. The result shows that the investment in this example outperformed the benchmark index by 8.8%.
Okay, and then let's try it with examples. So here we calculate alpha for the following portfolio. So this is the table, and this is how we made the table. So we put vertical bars to separate the columns, and then there in between we put the names of the headings. So stock, shares, beginning stock price, and everything. And then below that, we put vertical bars and then mga dashes in between to separate them. So yeah, that's how we made the table. And then there we see stock A with 2,000 shares, and then 30 beginning stock price, 28 ending, and dividend per share is 1, and then the beta is 1.5. So there for B and C, it's also seen there. And then the relevant risk-free rate is 5%, and actual return on applicable broad market index benchmark is 9.5%. So first, we need to find out individual holding period returns of stock A, B, and C. So the solution to their holding period returns are as follows. So another table here, the vertical bars na naman, and then the dashes in between to separate them into columns. And then so there we use the double dollar signs to put them in the middle. And yeah, to show the formula. So the second column there shows the solution, and then the last column is the answer na mismo. So yeah, these are the holding period returns for each stock. And then next, we must find out relative weights of each stock in the portfolio. So here, to make it bold, we put the dalawang asterisk, and then in between that yung weight of stock A. And then here we show na naman the formula, the equation, and then double dollar signs sa beginning and end. And then below that is the answer, which is 29.32. And then by following the same formula shown above, we will arrive with the weights of stock B and C. And then may underscore in the beginning and end to italicize it. And then bold na naman the 34.03% and 36.65% respectively. So this is for B and C naman. And then we can work out the portfolio return by finding the products of stock weight and return and then summing them up. So here for portfolio return, it shows the equation, how we computed it. And then the answer, naka dollar sign, double dollar sign to make it in the middle and show the answer. And then same thing for the beta and alpha. It shows the solutions na. And then there, the last line is the portfolio generated excess return of 2.18%.
Done. Group 7.
Yes, sir. Done na
Okay,
po.
thank you, Group 7. Okay, I'm sorry we extended time, guys, but Group 7, this is a very relevant topic that you chose. No? Tapos, may mga comments pa ako, pero siguro next time na lang dun sa, sa next class. So next class, next Wednesday, guys. Next week na pala, no? Oh, Monday na. Anyway. We're still going to continue with the other groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups presented, 4 more, and then I'm going to upload, guys, a video on the remaining discussion on data types and data structure so that we save on time. All right, so thank you so much, everyone. It's a great day. Thank you so much for the all the presenting groups. So next meeting, we're going to finish everything, all the other groups. And then I'm going to post a video on the remaining part of data types and data structure so that it's as if we were able to have classes also today. Okay, for those of you who were late, please remain. Okay, so thank you so much.
Sir, sorry, did you need to talk to our group po? Group 7?
Dali Sige, mag-chat na lang ako sa inyo kasi hindi ko nakita yung output nyo dun sa folder. No?
Na-upload na po now though. This morning
Oo, pero next time, on time, ha?
Yeah. Oh, sir, kasi we were sleeping na po last night.
Oo.
Nung in-announce niyo po.
Okay. Sige,
Hindi po namin na-realize. Yeah.
Hindi
This
nyo
morning
nakita yung
lang namin
folder.
nakita. Opo,
Sige.
yeah.
Okay, sige. Excuse
Okay,
naman
okay.
yun.
Thank
Alright.
you.
Okay, thank you.
lang po yung
Thank you, sir.
last time.
Sandali lang, i-stop ko lang yung recording. No?